and it's a new day. So a couple things. I got the turbo blanket installed. It's got a little more room in there than I imagined it would have. I can still sort of rotate it. I went with the Funk Motorsports one. It just looked pretty nice, and seemed like decent stuff, except for that. Anyways, mostly good stuff. But I did this connection here. I got pretty sick of looking at connectors, so there's about 6 layers of heat shrink underneath this. So it's a little stiff, but I suppose that's not too big of a problem. I'm going to probably end up either clear coating or painting, probably just clear coating, so then it'll match like the throttle body. I don't really see any need for too much paint elsewhere, but maybe I get crazy with it. I'm not sure, but for now it's just gonna be like that. But anyways, yeah, I threw a bunch of you know heat shrink around these connectors because they're soldered to the posts, and so that will hopefully allow me to have a pretty good solid connection. And I ran 4 of these 20 gauge wires up to it, and then those go back down into the stock wires that it originally had. So they're quite beefy, but mostly just to allow it to kind of be stiff and not hopefully get weakened by all the heat that it's going to be exposed to. So we'll see there, but I think the heat shrink actually makes it look pretty decent. Looks like a rather professional kind of looking connector, and I didn't really have too much trouble getting those 4 conductors in there. So yeah, anyways, I almost started doing this without filming. Working on the what am I working on? I'm working on the O2 sensor deal. So I have a Lambda controller on this ECU here, in this port here. So it was an add-in card. So anybody running the EMOD 009 knows that when you get the kit, it comes with like this little connector deal, and it comes with some pins. And I had lost the pins, so I was running the round ones that were on there up until this point, and I couldn't for the life of me find what pin they were. Nobody could confirm. I asked several different companies that used to retail the Adaptronic. Here's one of the original ones. They're these little round guys, just tiny little guys, but I guess this is part of the Bosch stuff. I'm not even sure. Anyways, nobody had any idea what the new pins were called. So I kind of took some measurements and then figured, what the heck, why not? So I got some measurements for it and went to DigiKey, and I ordered 25 of these bad boys here. This 7-1452-656-1, anybody that's looking. And lo and behold, I already took one off of here. I already put it somewhere, but anyways, that's the one, and it locks in here. It was a bear getting it back out of there. So luckily, that's the connector for this deal. So I'm going to kind of clean up this end of the harness here. I'm still waiting for my engine harness tape to get here, because I don't want to do on this side of the engine any tape that has any sort of adhesive to it. And so while this stuff seems to work pretty good for sticking on the other harness, I don't really so much like want all that glue all over my wires on the hot side. So I'm going to pin this according to the chart here, and get all that taken care of, and I will bring you guys back when it's done. Oh, also we're going to add in a bunch of the yellow wires here, because we got this Lambda controller actually has spare inputs. So I have my oil pressure, fuel pressure, stuff like that. So I'm going to pin those as well, and then I'll get it in there and I'll bring you guys back for that. Okay. Okay, I lied. One more thing. I also started running some of my fuel lines, and so I'm doing some loop back stuff here just because of, I kind of like the way it looks. I just think that looks cool, having that big old fancy connector just loop back under itself, and I don't know, I really like the way that looks. So I still have to wire this in, but this is basically where this is going to meet up. I ordered what I thought was a ORB8 or ORB6 to 6AN to with an NPT 1/8 NPT port on it, and I don't know where I saw that, but it apparently wasn't what I ordered. The one I ordered just has the -6 NPT female on one end, and so I'm just going to run it inline. I'm just going to splice it into this hose here. So I got the quick connect pieces that'll go on here, and then I'm just going to tie it to the end and stick the end out further, and then from there continue my hose. And I got some pretty cool little hose tie down dealies that hopefully will make this kind of snug as a bug and a rug sort of deal and hold everything down. But right now it's just kind of chilling there. But yeah, after I get all that wired in, I'll bring you guys back for that as well. Alright, well, I'm going to try and document at least one of these pins to kind of show what it takes to get these on there, because these are, well, now they're all tangled up. These are quite tricky. You got to break them off of this deal. And since I just have a pretty, basic Amazon crimper, it works fine. It's I actually quite like it. It seems decent quality actually. It's the Hand Tools crimping press, 61 million. So for these, I don't even know if this is the right tool or not, but what I've found to work the best is to take the pin and actually pre-insert it into the device. I'm using the smallest one for these. I don't know if that's correct either. I'm sure somebody's having a really hard time watching me do this. But then what I do is I take the wire and I make sure they're together. And I've already stripped it, obviously. Then I put it in until the jacket is where it's going to get crimped. And I go to the other side and I make sure my wires are laying down. So you can kind of see on here how they're sticking up right now. And then they just fell back down. So that's basically where I want them to be. And so I have the jacket is going to get crimped on this side. And then the wires down on the other side. And that'll ensure that I get all the conductors where they're supposed to be. And then just crimp it. And it looks like I got a good crimp. So then it releases, pop it out of there, and there's what she looks like. And so it's got a good purchase into the jacket at the bottom, and then the wire is nice and secure inside the actual conductor area. So I'm just going to keep doing that, and should be done here in the next 4 or 5 hours. And we're back doing some wiring here. I already have the black and the gray one in there. Just kind of going down the list. The next one here on the top is yellow. Nice solid connection. Then we have green. Then we have white. Then we have red. So got those in there. Look pretty decent. I'm gonna have to watch out for any sort of crossing. Doesn't really look like they're going to, because there's like that plastic thing in the middle there. And then when this comes down, does it do more? I don't really like this connector block. That little wall there just doesn't seem like it's quite enough guard. I may end up just putting tape across that anyways. I don't really want these shorting. Are they all the way seated? Well, before I put in the other sensors here, might as well give her a test run and see if it fits. So, there's everything. Seems easy enough. Push my red one out. It's not good. Uh-oh, I don't think the red one's seating. What's going on with the red one? Oh, now it's seated. Huh. Okay. Well, let's plug it back in to make sure that actually seats. What's going on with that green one? Does that look right? Doesn't look right. Seems like it's kind of lifted. Let's see here. I guess what I should be looking at is the end. That's a good connection. Let me tell you what. It's actually quite a bear to get out of there. Holy smokes. Yeah, I don't think the green one's in the right spot. So I'm looking down the barrel here, and I want them all to be in the square portion, not this T-shaped one. That's kind of what it looks like. Looks like everything's good. But I'm going to take my jeweler's screwdriver here and just kind of make sure they're down. Okay. Seems a little better, I suppose. Goes in really easy, but it's just not a very good connector. I'm not very pleased with that. But I will ensure that they are insulated from the outside world, and it's just going to have to be the way it is, I guess. But I got other connectors to put in here anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and slap the rest of these on here. I have my... I can do it right now, I guess. I have my... Is that fuel pressure? So it should be on the bottom. Should be the fourth one over. It's not latching. You know what? I might have put the pins in upside down on some of these. I guess it's possible. No, it's shaped the same way. All right. So fourth one over. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that one had a nice little sound to it. So that's fuel pressure, and then we're doing oil pressure as well. So that's this guy. So oil pressure is going to go right next to it. I assume. It's like this fuel pressure might have got crimped a little bit incorrectly, maybe. There we go. There's the sound. Alright, so there's all my cables in there. And double check. They look okay. Plugs in easy enough. Nothing came out. So I might do like maybe some kind of just a piece of that engine harness tape or something, just kind of around the connector area, just to make sure. I don't know if I'm going to do anything or not. I'm probably just going to look it over, but maybe I will, maybe I won't. But anyways, so that's all those. One of the things I'm thinking about doing though is up here where the harness actually goes through the firewall. Oh, I got a snag here. I was thinking maybe up here I go to this part of the harness and cut my oil temperature line and put in a connector there, so that should I want to try and run the other oil sensor and compare the two, I could do that. I'm really not sure what I'm going to do, because otherwise I have my extra oil temperature line just kind of hanging out here, and I don't know where I'm going to put it yet, because I don't think this thing's really wanting to read a second oil temperature sensor. It didn't seem to want to be doing that, so gotta kind of think about what I want to do. But anyways, I'm going to squirrel over that for a little bit, and then I'll bring you guys back. Okay, so I think I have what should make up the last bit of my fuel system here. I have a 100 psi fuel pressure sensor. I have my flex fuel sensor. I have my 6 AN to 1/8 NPT-T. So it's just got a 1/8 NPT port right on the side. And I have my quick connectors. So like I said before, I'm using a lot of the Evil Energy stuff. I have not had any leaks with these guys yet, so I thought I'd give them a try. Seems like it's made out of decent stuff. So these guys are supposed to go onto the flex fuel sensor. So let's see if we can make that happen. So it looks like there's some sort of O-ring down there. I don't really like O-rings in this setup if I can help it, just because I would prefer to have no issues with alcohol eating rubber. So I don't know what these less costly items are rated for. I don't see any, or I didn't see any warnings about using ethanol, but I'll have to double check on that and see if there's any warnings that popped up. I'm just putting a little bit of Vaseline onto the connector. It should not hurt anything. So this should go, let's see, how does this go? So this goes like that. Okay, good, it fits. And then that go onto there. Sweet. And then same for the other side. Oops. Okay, so that makes that a lot easier, because now I can just hook my hoses to it instead of having to do any sort of weirdness with, I don't know what I was going to do. But when I found out that that was supposed to be capable of doing that, I really wanted to make that happen. So here we are. And then basically this will do this and just extend up a little bit. And then this guy will just plug right in there. So now I'll have all of my, probably something like that, I assume. Oops, wrong way. Something like that, because my plug's going to be there. I imagine when the plug's on there I could do that. We'll have to check it out and see which way looks better. I don't want it hanging off the rear of the block. So but yeah, so that's flex fuel and fuel pressure, like, so it'll be flex, alcohol, ethanol detection, temperature, and pressure, like within the same area. So those numbers should be hopefully representative of what's going inside of the injector. Another day here. A lot of work has gone into the harness. I'm pretty far along with it. I got this sleeve stuff on here. I don't want to terminate up here yet, as far as like how long this is going to be, until I know exactly where the bulkhead boot is going to fit. I have my EGT power deal ready to go. I have everything ready except for the connection inside the harness, or inside on connection 1. What in the world is this connected to? So I just have this temporarily plugged in like this for the VSS and the flex fuel sensor. Those are just kind of hanging out for now because I have to plug them into the harness that plugs in here. So until that happens, which will happen in the car, it's going to hang like that. And I think I'm going to wait to fully dress this up until I can at least mock it up. Other than that, it's all pretty much wrapped up and looks okay. I'm not exactly the best when it comes to this cosmetic stuff, but looks alright. It's clean enough. I ended up getting a mount for the flex fuel sensor itself. It's going to bolt right to the rotor housing. So it's got a hole on the inside, and it'll bolt to one of these guys on the other side. And so I just got to get the correct screw for it. So it looks like it's going to work out. I'm kind of annoyed with how I ran this though, because it's going to be sort of running basically right there in front of the oil filter, and I think it's going to look kind of silly, but who cares? It's not going to be that bad. And if I want to change it at another time, I suppose I could, if it bothers me enough. So now it's time to sort of dive into this methanol injection system here. My intake air temperature fail-safe sort of thing. E85 is just, well, it's not available in the city. So unfortunately, can't really tune for that. It's looking like about 2 hours south of here. We have the first one in Washington State, down in Yakima, or South Yakima. And so I may be doing some future tuning with that later on, and then I can just, not use this, which would be pretty cool. I'm going to do some testing and really see what I want to do here. I know that in Eugene there is some purge functions that you can do. Is it a function? Yeah, I guess it's the purge valve. So I'm hoping that with this I'll be able to map the purge to my pressure to perform a duty cycle output, a PWM out, and then I can just control this pump on my own. And well, I guess it would be is it the nozzle? I'm assuming the nozzle would be intermittent. I don't even know where the nozzle is. Is it not in this box? Huh, I guess I'm gonna have to find that. So, anyways, I'm going to have to play with this a little bit and see what I can come up with for flow and all that stuff, because I don't really want to rely on this little controller, as fancy as it is. So I just, yeah, I don't know what I want to do yet. I just don't want to do this whole 10 psi turn on, 8 psi 9, whatever, and then turn off or turn to full at whatever. I feel like that's kind of, I feel like there's a better way to do this. So like I said, I'm gonna play with it a little bit, and I'm gonna see what I can come up with, and I'll bring you guys back when I come up with something. All right, so here's what I kind of came up with. I just wired the pump, the controller, the water level sensor, the battery, and then the arm switch. I just put it on a light switch. It's just sending signal anyways. Yeah. So I have the software for the Adaptronic kind of teed into the deal here. Just, it's just benchtop testing, but I have the Adaptronic so I can at least see the PSI that's being registered. And then I have my compressor hooked up to this, but the regulator right now is off. And so no pressure on it. So I'm going to be able to turn the regulator up a little bit at a time and kind of see what, I don't know, like what kind of output and flow this thing does. So I have the nozzle just sort of chilling in the tank at the moment. I did run the test cycle just to make sure, and I kind of flushed it out first. But I figure I can kind of show you guys sort of what it does. But anyways, so if I flip this on, then the light comes on the deal, and then the pump starts to vibrate. I guess that's to let you know it's normal and in like some sort of alarm mode if there's shorts or something. And so I thought there was a problem at first because it looked like the status light went away, but it is on. It's actually easier to see on camera than it is in person. But yeah, it kind of tripped me out. I thought something was wrong for a while there, so I started reading the instructions, and that's where I found out that, that's actually on purpose. And actually, you can turn it off if you want to. You just gotta basically connect the arm switch while holding the test button, and you can get that to go away. So I did that, and then I turned it back on because I was like, well, shoot, if it's got a safety feature, I might as well leave it. I have all the other ones enabled in the Adaptronic, so might as well have this one have one as well. All right, well, I'll get you guys kind of set up, and I'll do some testing here. So yeah. Okay, so I'm going to actually run the test really quick just so you guys can kind of see what this thing does here. So I'll hold down the test button. It starts to spraying. Looks like a pretty decent mist. Let's see what it looks like. It's pretty fine droplets, honestly. So, all right, so I'm going to tape this air nozzle open so it will just spray whenever I turn on the pressure. No real need to worry about too much because I'm just going to go ahead and read the manifold. Oh, I got to plug in my fuse. I'm actually off on the Adaptronic. And none of my gauges shut up. So I will pull out the stuff and restart the software. in the fuse, and then I will plug in the ECU. Okay, there's all my gauges. So I put the intake manifold absolute pressure thing right here. It's close enough to 0. So I'll actually be able to turn the deal. Let's have this start at, oh, I don't know. We'll start at something like 8 or 10. Yeah, let's go 10 to 20. That's what it looks like it's set to anyways. So I don't know if there's going to be any lights that come on for this, so I'll set you guys up here like this if I can. Kind of prop it up a little bit. You guys see that? Probably not. Okay, let's see what happens. So I'm actually going to turn the screen a little bit so I can see it. Okay, there we go. There's 1, 2, hit and boost, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there's 10. Let's see what it takes for that thing to kick on. Oh, you know what? Excuse me. Gotta pay attention. I didn't arm it. Okay. Maybe we'll get you guys closer. Okay. It's pretty close. I'll take the nozzle out of the liquid so we can actually hear it. That should work. Okay, so 9. Okay, it's doing something. It's vibrating a lot. So I think that's the lowest setting that you can do, and nothing happens. Let's go up a little ways. Okay. Bring her back down until it kind of... So yeah, it gets down pretty low. It looks like it barely pumps anything at that. Yeah, it's just dribbling into the thing. Yeah, that's not really ideal. Huh. Okay, so air compressor went off, so I wanna repeat that test basically. So about 10 is where it kicks on. There's nothing usable. about 15 pounds. At which point, it's pretty usable. But I have no idea what kind of flow rate they're doing here. So, a lot of, okay. Yeah, at that PSI range, it seems at least usable. But now we're getting closer to 20, looks like. So let me go ahead and kind of hold that there. Let's continue up to, what did I set it to? 30 or something? Okay, so 20 is the max anyway, so it's creeping up. Let's go to 20. So at 28 pounds of boost, she's at full duty. Okay. Not getting hot or anything, so that's good. I just don't know that that's going to be enough. So let's disarm it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and drain the pressure. Okay, so I don't know what to think about this yet. I don't really like the idea that there is an unmeasured amount of methanol and water really going into the engine. I mean, you get sort of a range of different nozzles that you can use, and they have sort of a flow chart. If I remember right, it said something like that. Let's check here. Yeah, so, and who knows if this is relevant for rotaries. I'm gonna have to look on the forums and see what people are recommending for around 350 horse. That's for NA. So if I'm doing 10 to 25 psi of boost, 642, it's calling for the 500 medium nozzle. So I almost feel like, because it's 642, I almost feel like I should jump to the 1000. 642, I guess 500 covers through 1000. It's kind of right smack in the middle there. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the medium nozzle on. Okay, so we brought the laptop out, and I have a little oscilloscope plugged in to the pump motor, and we're going to monitor the pump to see what kind of duty cycle it's doing here. I am pretty curious. So I'm gonna set this back to. We're gonna go to 5. We're gonna go to 20, and I'm just curious to see what the results are gonna be on the output of this thing. My USB scope is only capable of. It says max 200 volts, but the software only goes to 10, and so it's gonna be clipped or whatever. But it should at least give us the pulse width. And it looks like Eugene stopped playing. So let's restart that. Okay. Now we should be good to go. Let's see when it kicks on here. Alright, air's starting to flow. 5 psi, almost 6. And you can see the duty cycle increasing, but that still doesn't equate to any pressure. Just little droplets coming out, not a whole lot of action. I wish I could get that to stay up there a little better. Maybe I tape it. Tape is the answer for everything. Okay, so now we're taping, and we're going to increase the duty cycle here. So I'm getting closer to, what did I put the max to? We have it sitting at about 20. We're at 17.5. And just before 20, it popped up the full spectrum. So I'll increase to about 24. 25, 26, something like that. Okay. So here we're at full boost and basically full duty cycle. So looks like about the full 8 millisecond pulse width, something like that. Yeah, about 8. Or 10 millisecond pulse width from peak to peak there, or from trough to trough rather. Okay, and as we bring the boost back down from 30 here, we should see that go ahead and widen back up. So there's about 50% at 14. And I think we're going to need to do some actual flow calculations. So I would say that's pretty useless right there. I would say right at about probably 13 pounds. Yeah, probably something like that is about the first bit of continuous stream and usefulness as far as the way it sounds. So about 40% duty cycle, something like that. And then she kicks back off. Alright, well, I just thought that was interesting. Thought I'd share that with you guys. So here's kind of my thoughts on the whole thing. I don't know that I fully trust this controller to do what I need to do, right? I'm going to go ahead and grab a beaker of some kind. I don't know that I have anything with small enough measurements to really get an accurate reading, but I'm going to try to get an idea of the flow that I'm going to get at 50% duty cycle, because if it can, according to the maths that I can find, look like it's going to do what I need to in sort of that range, because the lower end, it's clearly not adequate. It's not doing what it needs to. I pretty much need the pump to be at 100% and modulate the a solenoid. I just feel like that's going to be the better way to do this. I don't think trying to play around with adjusting the motor's speed to increase and decrease the flow rate is a good idea. I think sticking with a particular nozzle and adjusting the frequency at which the nozzle opens and closes or is allowed to spray is just going to be the better way to do that. So I'm gonna figure some stuff out, if I can measure this volume at all, and I'll come back when I get something. Okay, so I'm going to try to measure the flow on 100% duty cycle, and then I'm going to measure it at a point that looks acceptable and kind of try to figure out what range I'm in here. This is still the smallest nozzle, I believe. I'm pretty sure anyways, but we'll find out here. I'm going to go ahead and pressurize the system. So, or no. I'm going to go ahead and arm the system. So now it's armed and apparently flowing. Okay, so let's try that again. Okay. So we're armed. So I'm going to go ahead and start the stopwatch. The moment I press this button, we'll see what the flow is. So here we go. I'm going to run for about 30 seconds, and at that point I'll go ahead and pull this blue connection here, which should shut it off. Oh shoot. We're going to have to start that again. Okay, so that was approximately 30 seconds. It looks like 60 seconds would get me, because it's sitting right here as is, on about 210 milliliters. But I'm gonna go ahead and run that test again. That was a kind of a fail. Okay. And need my hose. So 420 milliliters a minute is kind of what it was doing at full. So getting a little jumpy. All right. Okay, so 30 seconds. That time we got a little bit less, even with this in there. It's almost exactly 200. It's right on the line, as far as I can tell. So I think we'll call that 400 milliliters. I don't know why it would have gotten less, but that's pretty much right there. So let's do best 2 out of 3. So 210, 200. Let's do one more. Okay. So that one right there is just over 200. So somewhere between 200 and 210 is kind of where it comes out. It's almost exactly where it was last time. So it's about 200 per 30 seconds, so you can figure 400 per minute. I was going to use this here to get really accurate with it, but I think that gives us kind of a ballpark. So I'll bring you guys back shortly. Okay, so I figured let's go ahead and flow test this other one. I went ahead and popped online and just found the solenoid, the AEM solenoid for this kit, and just picked it up. I feel like that's going to be the best way to do it. I'm probably not going to end up using this thing. I'll probably just deal with the adaptronic, but it is what it is. So, okay, this one only has 4 little notches that I can see inside of it. So we'll assume that that is the smallest nozzle. So now, meeny, catch a tiger. One of these two is going to be the one we need. So let's see if we can see the difference here. I'm going to say the one on the left is the big one, right? Because the small one it only has 4 channels. Seems to me like the one on the left's bigger. Yeah, so we're going to try the medium and see where that lands us. Something like that, right? This isn't frustrating at all. I like this. And then trying to film it at the same time? Impossible. Okay. There's that. The dealie. That keeper. Put these back in the bag. All right, let's see what we get. Okay. That seems like significantly more liquid. Whew. It's about 850 per minute. Holy smokes. Okay, 850 at full duty cycle. So, after doing some looking on the forums, it would look like about 550 cc a minute, between 500 and 550. So we're about double that. I would say that this would be the correct size injector, so that we have plenty of overhead. Just out of curiosity, though, I think I'm going to run that other injector just to see. This one's clearly a lot. So I want to see what that last one did, just for funsies. So I may have found something a little concerning. Let's see if I can get it to do it again. I tried to film this twice already, and it failed. Basically, it's like the pump reaches a point where it can't do it because this hydro locks. So I thought maybe I was assembling it wrong, and so I just went ahead and blew into the hose, which at that PSI range can't make it work, but you can get plenty of flow out of that thing if you turn it down. Then I turn it up to the maximum setting, so it's 10 to 35 psi. And as I start to add pressure, it'll come on. Oh no, it's already done it. So it's like vibrating, but it won't spin, it won't pump. And oh, there we go. I don't think I have any kinks in my line, do I? Yeah, no kinks. It's not doing the things. So I'm not sure what is going on here. If I turn the boost down, okay, there she comes on. But if I go too high, it seizes. It hydrolocks here, so like the deal won't go on and it cavitates, and it won't pump anymore. And I have plenty of fluid, so I'm really not sure what to think about that. Turn that back up and release the pressure here. So basically now this nozzle won't come off of the end here until I essentially force it off. And so what I have to do is release the pressure, and then it'll work again. This is what I've been able to get it to do anyways. So I'll turn that back down. Yeah, now I can't get it to fire at all. And it's locked again. So, not really sure what's going on there. I definitely don't like that. I wouldn't want to be assuming I'm injecting methanol and nothing's actually happening. Yeah. It's like it works and then it doesn't. This is the really big injector. So I don't know what's going on with that little one-way valve. I looked at it and it looked fine. So I'm gonna go to that medium injector again and make sure that that doesn't have any issues, because this is not going to be acceptable. All right, here's the medium injector again. No problem. So I think that's what we're going to do. This one doesn't seem to have any issues. I don't know what's going on with that big one, but I think I need to send that video off to AEM and show them that this is faulty. So I'll set you guys up and show you the whole process here. Okay, so what I'll do is scoot you guys over here. So basically remove the hose, remove the pin, remove the hose fitting with its rubber O-ring, and then this piece has a one-way valve on top, and then the actual nozzle and spring. So it's got a little filter. So the nozzle just sits down in here, and it's kind of got a spring or whatever. So that's the nozzle we have on there. So I'm going to take this nozzle put it on. And I will take it and place it inside here. Oops, okay, messed that up. Okay, it goes all the way down. Then we'll take the one-way valve, put him in there, take the O-ring, put it down, take the keeper, press it in there. Okay. Now I will take this and put the hose on. Okay. I will take air pressure and apply it to the deal here. And then it locks up. So that's not good. That is not good at all. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the other one. Okay, we're back on the other nozzle now, and I have the boost pressure sitting right at 15, right here. So now I'm going to see if I can get close to that 500 cc a minute mark with this nozzle. It's kind of where I'm shooting at with about 15 pounds of boost. So I will go ahead and fire this beast up and see what we're getting. We were getting something like 800. So I'm going to put max boost at 20. This is all for funsies because I'm going to get that other nozzle anyways. So I will flick this on. Okay, that's about 225, so a little bit more, so I'll turn this down to 17 and a half. See what that does for us. Okay, go ahead and start over. Oops. Well. So there's 30 seconds. I'm back where I started, so that was probably pretty close. I'm gonna have to run that test again. So that's about 300, so a little high. A little too low, so that was like 230. Seems like there's not really that happy medium. But you know what? That's probably close enough anyways. So that's pretty much exactly 250. So right there, whatever that setting is, that looks like just above the 17 and a half mark. So I would say coming on at 8 and then linear rise from there, because 8's going to be just a dribble. I would think that would be fine. I'm gonna go ahead and do a test and see what it comes on at and just report back on that. Okay, here we are sitting at 12 pounds boost right there, and we're gonna measure flow with this thing set to come on at 8. We'll see what the flow rate is. So about 155 milliliters for 30 seconds, so 300. I would say that puts us into a pretty good range. At 12 pounds of boost, about 300 milliliters, and 15 pounds of boost is about 500. So that's where it's set to right now. So at least I have some hard numbers. So I ordered the solenoid, I think I mentioned that, but I'm gonna have to play with those numbers once I get the thing. So I think that's gonna do it for this one. Kind of a lot of just messing around, just trying to understand what this thing's doing and the controller and everything. It's probably not a bad deal, but the problem is as soon as you move those, you're going to be changing quite a bit. So I would say that if the intake temperatures aren't where you need them to be, then you probably need to add a little bit more. I'm planning on running a 50-50 mix, and so by weight, and so it should be quite tunable, and we'll see what that does to my my lambda readings, and we'll take fuel out if we have to and see where she runs. But ultimately this is a giant pain in the butt because E85 is not available, so all of that due to lack of availability. If I can get E85, I probably just will get rid of this complicated mess because there's more failure points, more things can go wrong, and it's just not that much fun to play with. I'm not really enjoying myself. So anyways, thanks guys for watching, and see you next time.